Welcome to Bell Brothers Brewing.
Engineers talking about beers.
I'm Curtis.
And I'm Cody.
And today we're doing Will It
Black and Tan.
What we're going to be doing for this one is we've got 4 stouts and 4 lighter beers.
There'll be a lot of drinking today again.
We're going to mix those with each one. So every possible combination, and if you can do your math, 4 times 4 is 16. So we're going to have 16 different potential combinations.
Like I said, a lot of drinking today. But it should be interesting. I picked a pretty eclectic mix of beers here. So we should get some that I hope are going to be really good, and we'll probably get some that are really bad. And we'll find out. And we will know so that you can know, and then you know.
And the more you know. For this one, the most interesting part really is like you've got that mixture of the 2 beers. And what I'm thinking of Will It Black and Tan, it's like if you have both of these, do they complement the flavors within that beer? Do they enhance each other?
You get something more than the sum of its parts.
A Black and Tan typically is a combination half and half of a stout and the lighter beer.
But, you know, a traditional lighter beer you would choose for this would be a lager or maybe a wheat. Sometimes you'll see like pale ale in here, so those would be the main ones. So obviously we're throwing that out the window. We're gonna do one lager, and then after that we're going IPA, sour, Hefeweizen. So we got a wheat and a lager in this. We got 2 that are technically more normal, and then an IPA and a sour.
And so let's go over which beers we have today. We've got Left Hand's Nitro Milk Stout,
Yule's Brewing Raised Vienna Lager,
Ben Brewing Trade War Export Stout.
We have a Tivoli Brewing Mile High Hef,
Station 26 Brewing Company's Baltic Porter.
we got Weldworks Brewing Juicy Bits,
It's so juicy. And we have Coedo's Black Lager.
we have Spice Trade Brewing's Scarlet Giant Hibiscus Key Lime Sour.
Alright, now that Editing Curtis is good and frustrated with editing the crap out of all of that,
Let's get into the video.
let's actually do some beer tasting. First up, we've got Left Hand's Nitro Milk Stout mixed with Yule's Brewing Vienna Lager.
It's pretty close to a traditional black and tan. You've got, you know, your lighter, a Vienna lager is a little darker than like a traditional lager you would use for this, but it's a light, kind of malt forward-ish lighter beer. And then you got Nitro Milk Stout.
Well, I mean, Left Hand Nitro Milk Stout is just such a great stout. I'm really looking forward to getting into that.
Traditionally, you would layer this, but the cups aren't really working with it, and we got a lot of drinking to do today. Ain't nobody got time for that.
But you know what you do have time for? Head on over to our merch store and buy some Bell Brothers merchandise.
We got hats, we got shirts, we got tank tops.
And eventually we'll have leggings and shorts and backpacks and mugs.
Do you have bear claws?
I don't have any bear claws.
We got any sugar donuts?
We're all out of sugar donuts.
We got any jelly donuts?
Nah, we're all out of jelly donuts.
Well, in that case, what do you have?
We've got a box of a dozen half crazy weasels.
Okay, I'll take that. Now back to your serious program. So it looks pretty dark. There's some hints of light through the edges here as I hold the cup in front of my face. Hints of light. The head is a nice like light tan with. There's a few dots of darker in there.
It's kind of cool. You can see like the swirls going on.
Yeah, there's like a little swirly of dark in there. It's kind of cool looking.
The aromatics though are like that real roast that you get out of the nitro, and there's like I don't know, maybe a high note, a little bit in the background that is the.
There's a malt sweetness.
Yeah, it's kind of
roasty and malt sweetness, and it smells very inviting.
Wow. Although Left Hand Nitro just like takes over with the flavor.
It tastes a bit sweeter
Yeah.
than usual. There's a bit less of the roast and a bit more sweetness. It did do something. It sweetened it up, lightened it. The body's a little more toward a medium versus a full heavy.
Right.
And the nitro creaminess kind of went away.
So I think it's like you watered down your Nitro Milk Stout though.
Not quite watered because it doesn't taste. It's thinner, but not water.
Will the Vienna Lager plus Left Hand's Nitro Stout Black and Tan?
No.
Yeah, no. It's not that much better than the base. I don't think it really created something better than it was.
Right.
It's not bad. That's the thing. It's like, is this way better than either of them individually? No. Is it bad as a combination? No. It's still drinkable. It's a decent beer on its own. It just doesn't have the merits of a Nitro Milk Stout on its own or the merits of the other one on its own. And next up we've got
Tivoli's Hefeweizen mixed with Left Hand's Milk Stout.
Kind of the same deal as the previous one.
Coloring's a bit different on the edges. You can see kind of a weirder, like ruby kind
It's
of.
a bit lighter. I was expecting to see some fogginess, but this is actually pretty much crystal clear.
Aromatically, big difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can smell that hef in there.
That hef comes right through
Weedy and banana.
It's like, oh no, I'm gonna tell you what you're drinking.
It's kind of interesting. You got weedy banana with the roast sort of floating there in the background.
I'm not sure the flavors mix quite as positively as the aromas do.
I'm not loving it. The banana is combining with the roast to kind of give this like
Burnt
banana that got left out in the sun for a day or two.
Yeah, like old bananas.
It tastes like old banana.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Not like banana that's too old to make banana bread out of.
Agreed. Will Tivoli's and Left Hand Milk Stout.
Black and tan.
Black and tan. No,
it will not.
Next up, what do we got, Cody?
We have Nitro Milk Stout from Left Hand and Juicy Bits from WeldWorks. This is one I'm kind of excited about. I'm excited for anything with Juicy Bits in it. I want to see how it goes.
Oh, Juicy Bits is one of our personal favorites. Now, I will tell you though, aromatically, I'm already picking
From
it up.
down here, I can smell that Juicy Bits.
Oh yeah, Juicy Bits coming to play in the party right now. There, what's up?
Yeah, that is strong. That's all you can smell when you get closer.
Look though, it's got that cloudy kind of, I don't know, off. It's not exactly.
Well, Juicy Bits is a New England IPA, so it's foggy in the first place, so it just fogged up your milk stout.
So you're getting like a weird kind of. It's not a pleasant look. Let me say it that way.
Dark beers look really bad foggy. Like lighter beers and foggy look okay. Dark beers and foggy look kind of like a cup of mud.
Juicy Bits definitely came to play on this one. They came in and gave the 1-2 punch to the Left Hand Milk Stout. There's a little bit of like roast background.
Yeah, kind of in the finish on the tongue. Juicy Bits usually finishes a little sweet on the tongue, whereas this with the roast and the hops combining, you get a pretty dry into like a hint of roasty, and then you get the tropical or the pininess of the hop.
While I was expecting like Left Hand's Milk Stout to like dominate consistently, this one I think is really Juicy Bits augmented by Left Hand Milk Stout.
So Will WeldWorks and Left Hand Black and Tan.
Yes, I like this a lot. If you like Juicy Bits in the first place, this works.
This would be a good mix.
Kind of like turning Juicy Bits into a black IPA. Because it's got some hints of that roasty notes, but it really retains being an IPA. The character of this is clearly IPA, and then it's got a few roasty notes sort of floating through it, but that's about all you keep out of the Left Hand.
Agree completely. Is it clearing enough yet?
What curves
I guess it's slightly better.
He's kind of locked in here with me.
Let's get the next one done. Fucking Chuckles McAss all over here.
Chuckles McGee.
Chuckles McAss.
Alright, next up we've got Left Hand Milk Stout and
Scarlet Giant
Spice
Hibiscus Lime Sour by Spice Trade Brewing. Because that's a mouthful.
I just wanted to have him say it versus me say it because he looks like the idiot then.
By the time we get into like beer 10 or 12, we're gonna be like, it's the sour one.
It's the sour
It's the sour one.
Aromatics, I'm not picking up much as far as what's coming off the top of it. How it looking?
Visually, it's a little darker than Hef or the Vienna, but clear, so it's not like the Juicy Bits.
Flavor wise, you definitely can tell that you're drinking a sour beer. Obviously that lactic is really kind of coming across on the palate, but I think the stout helps to mellow that out. It doesn't bite.
It's gently tangy. Kind of missing the hibiscus, but I'm honestly not surprised by that. We put it in a stout.
Right.
I'm pretty sure the roast just rolled right over the hibiscus.
Yeah, any kind of light, smooth flavor is going to get raffle stomped. Because there's some of that roastiness. I like that.
This gives me like a lime and dark chocolate sort of feel.
Yes. Does Left Hand Milk Stout and Spice Trade Sour Beer Black and Tan?
Yes.
I think so, yes.
And on an interesting note, this is the first one that kind of retained the creamy, smooth, velvety feel of the milk stout. This is the one that I think does it best because it kept the thing that makes Left Hand Milk Stout interesting.
I agree. I think of the four mixed with Left Hand Milk Stout, this one is probably my favorite.
And up next we've got Bend Brewing Trade War Export Stout and Uhl Brewing Vienna Lager. Very dark, which is kind of unsurprising. You know, you got a dark stout combined with a Vienna Lager, which is a darker lager.
There's like no head dimension whatsoever, really. I mean, there's a little bit along the edge.
Yeah, some light bubbles, but not much.
And then the aromatics are minimal.
You gotta get the
deep
roasty
in there.
Yeah. When you take a good sniff, you can kind of smell the roasty trade war smell. So it smells mostly like the stout, but a little less impactful than usual.
I'm not sure how much I like that.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm with you on that.
The burnt that comes off the trade war with the like really light Vienna. I don't know. It seems like it's pumping up the bitter.
It is very bitter tasting. At the end there's like a nice sweetness after you swallow and you wait a second. There's like a sort of pleasant sweetness sitting on my tongue, but all through the middle of that, beginning, middle, and not so great aftertaste kind of okay.
Will Bend Brewing's Trade War and the Vienna Lager from Uhl Black and Tan.
No,
No, I don't like this.
it doesn't work at all.
If you've noticed, he took one sip. There's his second sip, and that's as much as he's gonna put down today.
Yep, that'll be about all.
It's
It
not
just doesn't
good.
work.
No.
Next one.
So this time around, we've got Bend Brewing's Trade War Stout and Tivoli's Hefeweizen.
It's very black. Not a whole lot of tan going on here.
Aromatically, I think the hef still kind of kicks through. Lots of that big banana. It's not as aromatic.
It's not as aromatic, and it smells a bit sweeter, kind of like a syrupy banana.
I'd say this one is actually better than our last one. Is it good? Not sure we're gonna quite go that far, but it's definitely better than that last one.
Banana is not mixing well with the base export stout. The last one, the banana turned old. This one is more like there's a banana and some burnt stuff, and you kind of sprinkled the burnt crunchies onto your banana.
So Will Tivoli and Bend Brewing Black and Tan.
No.
It's not as rough as that last one. I'm sipping it more, but it's still not good.
They brought out the worst in each other on this one.
Yeah. What do we got next, Cody?
We've got Bend Brewing Trade War Export Stout and Weld Works Juicy Bits New England IPA.
Bam. You got all that in one shot.
Wham.
Again, Juicy Bits coming to play, dominating the aromas across the board.
That piney orange is main aroma here.
The visual is less off-putting.
This one is so dark that even
You
you can't see
really-
through it, so you don't really get the light kind of showing the fogginess look.
You know, I'm not against this one. Again, you'd have to like IPAs.
This one like filled. Like as soon as I took a sip, I like swished it a little. It was
Yeah, right.
like it's big, it's fluffy.
You think it'll black and tan?
Yes.
I agree. I think it'll black and tan in a non-traditional sense.
In a non-traditional sense, and if you enjoy hoppy beers.
Right. It really brings in some of those same notes we were talking about where that orange kind of shines. But rather than chocolate, it's more like a roast flavor to it.
Yeah.
A little more burn. A little
A bit more dry, a bit more roasty. And next up we've got
Bend Brewing Trade War Export Stout. Yeah, I got that this time.
there you go. I can get the next one.
Spice Trades, something giant, mixed hibiscus, the sour one. We're doing the sour one.
Pretty much completely black. Kind of like all of the export stout ones.
Trade War has just like appearance-wise, it's just so black. Yeah.
Yeah,
it
this one must have a lot more like. After about 30 to 35 SRM, it's really hard to tell. Like all beers look about the same, but this kind of shows that this one was really dark. It might have been pushing 50, and then when you add other light stuff to it, it comes down to a 40. So it still looks completely black.
Yeah. Aromatically, it's not pushing up as much in the sense that it's not like really kicking up into the nose.
Yeah,
but
you're
you
not
can
getting a
still
lot.
smell the sour.
Yeah.
You know what? I like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like a mellow, kind of a warm sour almost. Like
Yeah.
it feels warm and
I'm getting interesting, some of that lime flavor. Even the hibiscus is kind of shining through with like some floral notes inside of that. The fruitiness is really playing well. It's mixing well with the burned kind of dark roastiness.
the finish is a little sweet. It's not as dry and burnt as a lot of the previous ones have been.
Definitely. Definitely.
So Will Bend Brewing and Spice Trade Black and Tan.
Yes.
Yes.
I would put this on upper echelons of black and tans.
Juicy Bits and Export was pretty interesting. It was more interesting than Juicy Bits and Nitro.
So what this tells me is like sours seem to play really well with like the whole black and tan
yeah.
concept.
Who knew? All right, and next up we've got Koedo Black Lager from Japan and Vienna Lager. We got lagers on lagers. So much lazy beer. This is a lot lighter than the previous ones.
Oh yeah, I can actually see through it.
Yeah, which is unsurprising. I mean, we're doing a black lager, not a full-on stout here.
Kind of neutral.
Kind of neutral to
I'm not
roasty.
picking-
I got a hint of a roasty sort of finish in the background.
It's really light. It's a super neutral smell across the board.
How do you describe how it tastes?
Kind of like a Guinness.
It's a Guinness with a bit more sweet to it.
I think the Vienna lager kind of steps in with the black lager and just gives it that sweetness.
Yeah, it's got a grainy sort of taste. So it's like a solid, grainy sort of flavor. Pure barley, almost Pilsen. Kind of tastes Pilsen malty. So it's got a little bit of that Pilsen malt flavor and then into like a light roast with a little bit of sweet.
So Will Koedo and Uhl's Black and Tan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like this.
I'm gonna give this one a yes. Yeah. Go get your Bell Brothers merch, motherfuckers.
And now we've got Tivoli's Mile High Hef and Koedo's Black Lager.
I can smell this from a long ways out. Like
That banana is strong.
Oh, so strong.
That scares me. When you get a really, really strong banana smell in the aroma, that usually does not bode well for
And that
the flavor.
smell's starting to make me sick based on the poor mixers that it's done thus far. How's the taste?
About what the aroma tells you. Really strong banana, a little bit of a wheat in the background, and then
I think
kind of finishes with a weird.
I'm just gonna blame this on
funky
Tivoli's. That's
Yeah.
all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna blame it on Tivoli's. That is just a bad hef. in the story, right? So this has no connotation on the stout itself or the black lager. Tivoli's just needs to go screw themselves.
On that high note, will it black and tan?
That's gonna be a big no.
No.
This time around, we've got Coedo's Black Lager and Juicy Bits from WeldWorks. Now, I've got some high hopes for this one.
Got high hopes.
They're really good beers, right? And thus far, the Black Lager's been kind of tame to help balance that out.
Once again, Juicy Bits just kind of came in there and was like, I'm here! Boom! I'm Juicy Bits. Kind of smells a bit sweeter than the previous ones. I think because we got a black lager versus a stout, it's not quite as bitter.
And that's reflected in the taste, I think, as well. There's Juicy Bits, but it's like it calms some of the more bitterness aspect of the Juicy Bits, brings out some of that sweet orange that really kind of sings that New England style.
The big thing is it removed a lot of the pine. Because Juicy Bits is orange and pine. It's like a sweet orange juice with a little bit of pine resin. And this kind of removed all that pine resin. You're just left with sweet orange juice and a barest hint of roast.
So will Coedo and WeldWorks black and tan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I like this. This is good. So next up, we've got Coedo Black Lager and Spice Trade Scarlet Giant.
The sour one.
Sour. This has got an interesting look. It's got a lot of red notes.
And Scarlet Giant are like, whoop-ah! I'm here. The aromas are just...
Yeah, you got that sour. That lactic tang is really coming through clear.
Yep.
There's a hint of the roast, but Coedo's not super roasty. As I've picked up here, it's not really that roasty, so... I think we got a good one.
I could be wrong. But
nah, that's pretty good.
yeah, that's pretty fucking good.
That's good stuff right there. It's got a nice sweet honey-like sort of finish.
I mean, I think Scarlet Giant is
that might be a
sour,
really good sour
anyways.
by itself.
But the mixture with the black lager, it tones down some of that sour, it pumps up some of the sweet.
It's like a honey limeade with just a hint of roast sort of right on it.
So will Coedo and Spice Trade black and tan?
Fuck
Yes.
This is the best one of the Coedos.
Yes. Yes,
Hands
without
down.
a question.
Hands
this
down
is the best
best.
one.
Yeah, well, the other one was equal with the
Juicy Bits.
Juicy Bits. This one is hands
Definitely
down
better.
better. It just all the flavors it's just so many layers, so
and
good.
the finish is just right. Like it's just dry enough that you don't feel like it's too big.
Yeah.
But it's not so dry that it leans into like an astringent or anything like that.
Definitely.
Like it's a little wet on the tongue, but it's just right. It's just right.
This is just the pinnacle of the black and tan. And it's out of left field.
Yeah.
Right? It's just so weird and oddball with the sour and the weird
Black
stout. Like,
I mean, I got the sour.
yeah.
Expecting it to be the one that was going to continually put out, man, that's nasty. I was expecting it to be worst across the board, but so far it's 3 for 3.
So the next set of 4 are going to be Station 26, Baltic Porter with rye whiskey aged barrel. Holy moly, that is a lot. It's the Vienna Lager from Uhl.
That's like a nice red, amber sort of color.
Yeah, I don't know if the light comes through on that one. You guys can see it, but like it is ruby red. Aromatics are barrel aged. That whiskey is coming through. It is coming to play, and that Vienna has no chance in coming anywhere close to it.
That just smells exactly like a nice whiskey barrel. Does it taste like a whiskey barrel?
That is strong. The Vienna has no chance. No chance whatsoever.
That like creamy, woody vanilla note of the barrel. There's a bit of dark fruit, but not much.
If you said there was a Vienna Lager in here, if you said this was a black and tan, I'd be like, no, there's no way. Right? Like, there's no way.
So will Station 26 and Uhl's black and tan?
No,
because I think this is literally just like the stout side.
Maybe toned down a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is bad because if it's that good and it's toned up, like I would say that's a really good.
I'd rather have the base if the base was going to taste this way.
No.
And this is the Mile High Hef and Baltic Porter Whiskey Barrel Aged. What does it look like?
Clear,
like a nice, like a light orange, maybe a red ale almost.
and the aroma is past ghosts of Tivoli's.
Yep, we got the banana took over again. We got funky banana and a hint of barrel, so it's a wooden banana.
Right?
Yep, I think I'd rather eat a wooden banana than this. Yep. Someone give me a wooden banana if it means I don't have to finish this cup. So no, it will not black and tan.
That's the answer. That's a no. That's a resounding no.
That took a very good Baltic Porter and made it very bad.
Is this the worst Tivoli?
Yes.
This is the worst by far today.
I got high hopes. I got high hopes.
Pie in the sky hopes.
Have you guys
We don't
had
sing.
something to drink?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sleep this one off.
If you want good music, go to a different YouTube channel.
Right?
It's a channel about drinking beer.
Go check out Roomy Official for more music intros.
So next up, we have WeldWorks Juicy Bits and the Baltic Porter.
What's the aromatics?
Mostly WeldWorks. You're smelling a lot of Juicy
Yeah.
Bits.
Man,
Not-
Juicy-
Like, it somehow covered up the barrel, which
Right.
barrel is usually a really strong smell. And it's just gone here. Like, I
Juicy's
smell
just bringing some
fruity
heat.
orange.
Bringing some heat. If I was more sober, I'd probably be able to put more words to it. It's not as good. I would say it's not as good as any of the other ones.
I think in this one case, you just got two beers that are too strong individually.
They're fighting.
That they just, they don't come together to make a cohesive unit here.
No.
So does it black and tan?
No. Check me out. We're coming into beer 16 here, but I can remember the full name of both of them.
Alright, Mr. Cody Bell is going to give it a full whack of both titles from the top. Full. What do we got?
We have Spice Trades, Scarlet Giant, Hibiscus Lime Sour, and I forgot the brewery's name, Baltic Porter Rye Whiskey Barrel Aged.
Station 26.
Station 26. Okay, so I forgot the name of one and I forgot key in the other, but that's pretty good. I've had 15 beers. No. I was definitely more drunk during the champagne beer.
Champagne. Yeah.
The champagne beer ones, I was fucked up by the end. I was struggle busting to even stand still. Right now, I'm at least coherent. Visually, yeah, this is red. Nice clarity though. What's it smell like?
Smells kind of like a barrel-aged hibiscus sour.
It does smell pretty good.
What do we taste it?
Kind of like a key lime pie. You've got sweet, you've got limey. There's a little bit of vanilla floating around in there. The only thing it's missing is the graham cracker crust. Like, you don't have that buttery graham cracker crust. It's like key lime pie filling.
I'm digging it.
Yeah. There's no roast, which is not necessarily a bad thing. I think the roast might make this a little less good.
It's a Baltic Porter. There's not supposed to be roast.
Right.
So
There you go.
Will Station 26 and Spice Trade black and tan?
Yes.
Yes.
This
Will
is
it
very
black
good.
and tan better than Cueto and Spice Trade?
No,
That's hard, yeah.
I think the black lager beat this one out a little bit.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with that.
This one has a lot of the key notes, but I think the sour needs that roasty note
To really
that
set it off?
Yeah, that kind of darker roast that came from the lager to help balance and really enhance the flavors.
The other big thing here is you have that interesting rye whiskey barrel flavor, and it kind of got simplified into just a sort of a woody vanilla note, like an aged
Yeah.
vanilla note.
Yeah.
And so you kind of lost a little bit of what made the Baltic Porter good on its own. It still came together to make something better, but I think if we had a little bit more of that woody barrel note, that might have set this up a little better.
So your stats for the day. So your favorite was Cueto with Spice Trade. And that's not surprising because Cueto and Spice Trade actually did the best across the board. You liked the Spice Trade sour with everything. It didn't matter what black you put it
Which
in.
is super surprising.
Sours, black and tan.
Apparently.
I think that's it. I think that's what we're going to cover.
That's
You
the-
need a good sour.
Yeah, that's a good yeah. That's the big takeaway from this video. If you have a good sour, you can make them black and tan.
Definitely.
And ironically, the Japanese black lager got 3 out of 4. The only thing it wouldn't black and tan with, which isn't surprising, is Tivoli's Hef,
Tivoli's,
which
yeah.
didn't black and tan with anything.
Well, that's just
If you have a
'cause-
bad beer, you're gonna have bad beer.
Yeah, it's just bad beer. It's a bad beer. It's a bad beer, and it doesn't matter what else you do with it.
If you're drinking bad beer, you got bad beer.
You get bad beer.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us out, and we very much appreciate it.
Thank you for visiting us here at Bell Brothers Brewing.
It's been Engineers talking about beers.
Cheers. Big shout out to our fellow brewers over at FH Brewing for making one of my personal favorite black and tans, their Sticky Bomb, which is a combination of their Sticky Paws honey wheat and their Fist Pump stout.
Mile High Hef from Tivoli Brewing.
You got another Tivoli's? Really? Oh my god. If you watch previous on that one, Tivoli's. No. Rename that appropriately, right? There is the Baltic Whiskey Barrel Aged, and there's some Tivoli sprinkled in there to fuck it up. That's what it is.
The Spice
Spice
Trade.
Giant.
Spice Giant.
Scarlet Giant.
From Spice.
From Spice
All right, let's try that
The
again.
sour one.
Sour one. Moving on. The wisdom of Madden has been spoken.
You smell those aromatics?
And next up, we've got
Curtis's butt.
completely ruined the aromatic. All I can smell is rotten peanuts.
Wow, Curtis started to swim.
Complex flavor profile of espresso and dark fruits. Why are you drinking more of it if you don't like
Easy
it?
to do.
To confirm how bad it is.